Welcome to yoga, some revive and restore this Tuesday morning. And I'm going to ask you to try and find yourself into a comfortable seat on your mat, wherever that may be. Now, or maybe you don't have a mat, we're at home, so go with what works for you. But I'm going to be seated crisscross on my mat, or Sukhasana, also known as easy pose. If you're a teacher, we know it as crisscross applesauce, whatever works for you. But just find yourself into a comfortable seat where you can kind of really anchor down through the sit bones. So while you're anchoring into those sit bones, I want you to kind of just glide from side to side and just feel the hips start to open just slightly. And just take it a little bit further down. Just waking things up and becoming comfortable before we come in. And bring yourself up to a seat. So let's roll those shoulders back and down. And then you're going to draw the back of the head back. So it's not leaning forward, you're not looking down, nothing's going on in front of you. Draw the back of the head back, your gaze is just out in front of you. And close the eyes. With the eyes closed, I'm going to ask you to soften your face. So that means that if your teeth are touching, you're just going to gently separate the teeth and soften the face from there. You'll feel your ears kind of drift down towards the shoulders. And then again, actively draw the back of the head back so that you're trying to have your ears kind of hang out right above the shoulders. Roll those shoulders back and down, releasing through that front space. And start to focus on the breath. So we're breathing in and out through the nose, allowing the body to fully capture each inhale, and then fully release with each exhale. Try and let that breath go all the way into the belly. And you'll feel the belly respond by filling up like a balloon. And then as it exhales, it kind of just empties out like a balloon would as well. With your next exhale, slowly open the eyes and bring yourself back to your space here. And then you're going to switch your legs out. So whichever leg is in front or on top is just going to be reversed. Just switch them. And I'm going to ask you to take your hands down onto those knees and you're going to rock from side to side again. You're targeting the other hip this time, opening up. My hips are not happy with me, it's clicking, which means that it's moving, so that's a good thing. And then inhale, draw that all the way back up. Let's take this right hand and anchor it down into the mat. As you anchor it down, I want you to pay close attention to your right shoulder. Your right shoulder is going to rotate and draw back. So you'll notice that it's no longer really in the screen. You really want to draw it back so it's not visible. And you're kind of lengthening what I call the side body here. And then your opposite arm, your left arm, is going to reach all the way up and overhead. Reach it up so that it feels like you're hanging off of monkey bars or off a cliff here. And then you're going to plug the head of the arm bone down and back. So it's no longer up by the ear, but it's down and back. You're creating a little bit of space. And then inhale fully and exhale, soften and hinge over to the right. Let this left side body gain some length. Keep your right hand anchored into the mat. And then you can start to revolve it so that you can bring that left shoulder back. If it's comfortable, if you feel any strain in the neck, please just stop where you are. I want this to be a nice long lengthening of the side body, not anything torturous in the neck. You don't want any pain up there. So little quick note, anytime that you are asked to shift your gaze, if you feel any pinching in the neck, your gaze just goes straight out. Inhale, bringing that all the way up. Let's take that left hand down this time. And again, as the hand anchors down, roll that left shoulder back, lengthen that right or left side body here. Opposite arm all the way up, reach and extend through the sky, and then plug it down. Feel that engagement. So it's literally the head of the arm bone is plugging into that shoulder socket. And then inhaling fully and exhale, take it over. Keep that shoulder engaged and pressing down. If it feels right, you can rotate and start to bring your gaze upward. Again, any uncomfortability, you're going to stop and you're going to find a neutral zone right out in front of you. Always protect the spine and the neck. Plug that right sit bone down and let yourself lengthen along that right side body. And inhaling, bringing it all the way back up. Nice work. Now you're going to take those shoulders, roll them all the way forward and bring them back and down. So bringing them forward, exaggerate this movement, like make yourself look silly. No one's looking. Make it worth it. Roll it all the way up and all the way back. Now, once they're back, I want you to keep them back. And then you're going to take your arms up, like field goal arms, if you will, or cactus, whatever you'd like to call it. And you're going to have your elbows line up with your shoulders and your wrists line up with your elbows. And try and squeeze those shoulder blades onto the back. So you're really trying to anchor that back plane of the body. And then draw your gaze upwards. So you can open up through the front. And coming back to neutral. Nice. From here, inhale and draw your arms all the way up. And exhale, draw the hands down onto the mat in front of you. Plugging those hands down into the mat. You're going to draw those shoulders back and start to shift as you bend the elbows and bring yourself as close to the mat as you can go. And it's not a collapsing, right? So I want to make sure that you're keeping your sternum up. You're leading with your throat almost. Plug those sit bones back. And inhale and walk that back up so that your hands are anchored. Now you're going to walk your hands right over to the right. Plug this left sit bone down. It's not going to get light. If you feel your left sit bone coming up, you've gone too far. But I want you to anchor that down as you twist. Inhaling, lengthening, and exhaling, twisting. Twisting around, softening those hips. And inhaling, bringing it back to center. Nice work. We're going to go over to the other side. So walk those hands right on over to the left. And the same idea, you're going to get here, plug the right sit bone down so it's nice and anchored. And then you're going to inhale deeply and exhale, twist, taking it around. So you're using your hands as kind of a foundation here so that you have some nice stability. And inhaling, coming back to center. Walking that all the way back up. Nice work. So those shoulders and hips have been woken up a little bit here. Now you're going to come out and bring your feet into what we're going to call like a windshield wiper. So your hands are going to come back and behind you. I'm going to shift positions. You can stay right as you are. With your arms back and behind you, I want you to roll those shoulders back so that, again, you're leading with your throat here. Now draw your belly button into your spine. And as you do that, you should feel kind of like your behind gets a little bit light. That's the engagement that we're looking for. So you're not really heavy in the seat, but you can feel your sit bones anchored into the mat. However, you're really engaging through the arms and through the belly, so it's taking away from that. And then from here, draw the back of the head back so that it's hovering right over those shoulders, and let the knees go all the way from one side to the other. And it's not super fast paced. It's just going all the way down, really working that hip rotation. And then the next time they drop to the right, let them stay to the right. So they're going to be nice and anchored here. Your right hand is anchored into the mat, left hand on left hip. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. And maybe you take your gaze behind you. And as you exhale, drop it all the way back down. Try and get this left sit bone to plug into the mat and bring your gaze over the left shoulder. And inhaling, bringing that all the way up. And exhaling, dropping it back and down. Inhaling up. This time you're going to stay here. So you can stay here and just press your left hand into that left hip and work it around. Or you can take your hand, walk it back and behind you onto the mat, bringing both palms down and start to lower to wherever works for you. But I want this left leg anchored. If the left leg starts to come up, then just take it back. So you can walk it down onto forearms and find yourself into this twist. Really focus on your breath. And inhaling, bringing that all the way back to center. As you come back to center, again, realign. So draw the shoulders back, they're anchored back. The back of the head is coming back. Your feet are anchored into the mat. You're gonna let those knees all the way, one side to the other. Next time they're over to the left, they're gonna stay here. You're gonna find some room here. Draw that right knee down into the mat, right hand on right hip. Inhale, bring it all the way up. Maybe you switch it around so you're looking fully around for that twist. Exhale, drop it back and down, and bring your gaze over your shoulder blades each time. Inhaling all the way up, full rotation. Exhaling, back and down. Next inhale, you can stay up. So we can stay right here, just giving yourself a manual assist, or you can walk the hand around onto the mat, finding yourself in this full revolve twist, and you can stay right here, up on the hands, or you can bend those elbows and bring it down. You're gonna bend, you're gonna bring it down, coming nice and flat onto the mat, anchoring that right leg. So again, if that right leg starts to get light or you feel pain, just back it out and focus on your breath. And inhaling, sweeping this all the way back and around. Nice work. So now you're gonna stay in this same position, and I'm gonna have you drop your knees right over to the right. So just like you did when you came into that windshield wiper. And as you come all the way down, I'm gonna have you take your hands back and behind you. So this time, your left knee is going to stay anchored, and you're going to switch your fingertips so that they're facing towards your body. And you're gonna do almost like a tricep dip here. So you're going to bend the elbows and anchor that leg down so you're really getting into this hip flexor. That's the main goal here. You can lower down as much as you'd like. I like to do a little bit of dips and kind of just slowly find myself there. If you're comfortable, you can bring yourself all the way back, lowering down onto those forearms. If it's even more comfortable, you can drop flat onto the back, but please don't do so if you feel any pain in the knees. Drawing the back of the head back. Really anchor that left knee. You should feel an intense stretch through that left side, through the hip flexor. And then walk it slowly back up. Nice work. As we know, we got to do it on the other side. Pull that left leg back in. Just give it a quick shift from side to side, and then drop those knees right over to the left. Now again, you have your right knee nice and anchored down into the mat. You have everything is down in the mat. No part of the body is up on the bottom portion. And then shift those fingertips facing towards the body and tricep dips. You can do this. This is great for the hips and the triceps. It's just a regular workout. So you can do this as repetitives, or you can just drop it all the way back and down and find yourself getting that nice long stretch along that left side or right side this time. So it's your call wherever you'd like to take it, but know that there are options. Really breathe into that right hip. Finding nice big inhale and exhale. And inhaling, walking those hands back up. Awesome. Let the knees drift side to side, just shake them out. And now you're gonna bring the legs underneath you and send it forward for a child's pose. So your child's pose is going to have your big toes together and your knees nice and wide. So your hips are open right now. We did a lot of seated hip openers. So you should be able to shimmy them nice and wide and then walk your hands along the mat. As you do so, keep your elbows away from the mat. So it's almost like you're gonna consider your biceps framing your ears here. Bringing it down, rest your forehead down, and keep those shoulders working onto the back. Send your hips back and down. Imagine that your tailbone is reaching for the seam of the wall and the floor here. So you're really lengthening with each exhale. Send it back. Like visualize space going in between those vertebrae. Let yourself soften and get heavy in the hips while you engage your shoulders so that your heart space is open. From here, you're going to inhale and start to bring it all the way up onto those hands and knees. As you find yourself onto those hands and knees, let's focus on the hips going over the knees, the toes curling into the mat, so no flat feet. I want those toes curled in. That's going to align all of those little bones in your feet and your ankles. So we want everything nice and aligned. Now, your wrists are going to be right below your shoulders, and your hands are spread like high five hands. So their fingers are spread nice and wide on this mat. And as you inhale, I want you to think about working the sides of your hips to the opposite sides of the room. So inhale and drop your belly down, work those hips to opposite sides of the room. And exhale, round the spine, tuck the chin, and exaggerate your cat-cow. Inhaling, opening, lots of hips today. And exhale around. One more inhale, open, and exhale around. And you'll find yourself at this flat back, and then you're going to send it right into that down dog. So find your down dog. Take a second here. Shift through the legs. So walking the dog means that you bend one leg while you straighten the other. Really lengthen through the back part of the body here. Shift those hips from side to side if that feels right, whatever works. But find your space. And then you're going to settle both of those heels back, and you're going to draw your gaze into the right, like there's an imaginary line in between those thumbs, and that's where I want you to be looking. With your next inhale, you're going to walk those feet up to the hands and exhale, forward fold. In your fold, feel free to take a slight bend in those knees. That's totally fine. But release the top of the head. So shake it yes and shake it no. Take all that pressure off the top of the head here. And you're going to start to bring weight into the heels, and imagine that you're lifting those toes up off the mat. So start to visualize that and then do it. Lift the toes off the mat. So you're anchoring down with the foot, not the toes. And as you do that, inhale and sweep it all the way up and overhead. Arms come up nice and long. And then exhale, take the hands to the side. Nice. So take a quick peek down at your feet. Toes are going to be up off of the mat. I want those toes reaching up towards your kneecaps this whole time. And just really kind of focus on that. The other stuff I'm going to say, inhale, exhale, fold. Think about your toes the whole time. So use that as your focal point. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen through that spine. Exhale, drop it down, hands to the mat. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. Exhale, hands to the side. Nice work, those toes are still up. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, take it halfway. Exhale, take the hands down, step your right foot back for a lunge. Your hands are going to frame your front foot here, and you're going to sink into this lunge, but don't compromise the knee. The knee's not going to go past that ankle. And then exhale, send it back, down dog. Inhale, pull forward, high plank. Exhale, lower it down. Now flip the feet. So the top of the feet are flat into the mat, and inhale and open it up. Exhale, send it right back, down dog. Awesome work. Check in with your breath. Next, inhale, walk, or you can jump your feet up to your hands if that feels good. Exhale, fold. Inhale, all the way up. Exhale, hands to the side. All right, those toes are up. Inhale, sweep it up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, left leg back for a nice deep lunge. Again, your front knee is not going past your ankle. And then send it back, down dog. Inhale, high plank. And exhale, lower down. Top of the feet are flat into the mat. And then you open up. Exhale, send it back. Down dog. Next, inhale, walk, step, jump, whatever works. Hands and feet come back together, and exhale and fold. Inhale, sweep it all the way up. Nice work. Okay, so I really want you to consider keeping those heels down and into the mat and the toes up. Inhale, bring it up. Exhale, forward fold. Send both feet back, down dog. Check in with that down dog. And from here, take your left leg and lift it back and behind you. Inhale, sweep the leg in between the hands. And exhale, lower that back knee into the mat. You're gonna sweep the arms all the way up, opening up that right hip. Nice work. Now your gaze is gonna go up to the sky. Your arms are working back. Awesome. Finding that breath. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat. Lift that back leg up. You're now into a higher lunge. You're gonna keep your right hand anchored and open up your left hand to the sky. Finding a nice revolved bent knee here. Revolved lunge, working a twist. Working your hips, working your heart space. Awesome. Exhale, take your hands down, framing the front foot, step it back, down dog. Pedal those feet. Now take your right leg and sweep it back and behind you. And in between the hands, finding that lunge. Back knee lowers into the mat. Those toes are still curled in. And you're gonna sweep it right up and into a low lunge. Check in with that breath. And exhale, hands come down, frame this foot, lift the back leg. Find yourself in your lunge here. Keep your left hand down and open up the right. Now, modification. You can always keep that knee down if it's too much to come up. Check in with your breath and really twist into this. Anchor down with that right foot. Exhaling, taking the hand down, send it back, downward facing dog. Nice job. Check in with your breath. Left leg, send it back and behind you again. And inhale it all the way up. Send it up, right into a lunge. Nice job. So do me a favor and bounce that back leg a little bit for me so that you know that your back leg is nice and active. It's an active player in this game. It's not all on that front leg. Awesome. Now you're going to revolve your back leg so your foot opens out to the side and you'll find yourself in your warrior two. Arms are parallel with the floor. Really find your breath. Your shirt should be moving with your breath coming in and out. Now from here, you're going to windmill your arms all the way down. Hand comes inside that left leg. Right arm up to the sky. Nice open. And exhale. Revolve that back heel. Hands come down. Now your hands are down on the inside of your left leg. I'm going to give you the option of keeping back leg up or dropping the knee down. It's your choice, but you're gonna open out this left knee to the sky. So it's reaching off the edge of the mat, just really targeting that hip. Inhaling, coming back to center, and send that leg back and behind you, downward facing dog. Right leg sweeps back and behind, and bring it in between those hands, sending it right up into your lunge on the other side. Nice work. And again, get that back leg active. So lift and lower through there. So we know that it's an active player in the game. Finding your breath. Now pivot that back foot. Bring it out, warrior two. Your arms are hovering. They're parallel with the floor. Finding that breath. And then exhale and take it down. Your right hand comes inside your right leg and open up this left arm to the sky. Hint here, the more you anchor into your right leg, the easier it is. And exhale, taking your left hand down. Rotate that back heel. Your hands should now be on the inside of this right foot. You can keep your back leg up or you can lower it down, your choice, but you're gonna let this right knee work out to the side for a lizard lunge. Fall into your breath. And then if you're not there, lift that back leg, send your front leg back, downward facing dog. And inhale, high plank. Exhale, lower it down. Top of the feet are flat down and really open up. And exhale, send it back, child's pose. So those knees are really wide, wider than the mat if you can get them there. Walking those hands out, resting the forehead on the mat, elbows are up and away from the mat. Shoulders are plugging in on the back. And again, think about putting weight into those hips. Inhaling and bringing yourself all the way up into a seat. You're going to send your legs straight out and in front of you. So with those legs out nice and long, inhale the arms all the way up. And exhale, fold it down, reaching for the toes. You don't have to get to the toes. You can rest your hands on your thighs if you want, but I want your shoulders back and I want your heart space leading. So I just don't want you to reach over and collapse that front body. It makes things a little bit more challenging in that we don't go as far or as soft as we typically can if we kind of collapse over. However, it really helps to align the body. I think alignment is super important, especially if you do any other sorts of workouts in your life. This is something that's a very good complement to things as running or spinning, anything else. And inhale, bring your shoulders back. Now you're going to tuck those knees in and then slowly draw yourself onto the back. Finding yourself flat onto the back, hug the knees in nice and tight. Really rock from side to side and try and consider targeting each vertebrae. Maybe you're rocking like up and down, or maybe you're rocking in a circle. I don't know. Listen to your body and do what it's asking of you. And then hug the knees towards your shoulders. Give it a nice big squeeze. And exhale, let the legs go long on the mat. From here, you're going to close the eyes and let yourself anchor. Bring the breath in and then let it go and release it on its way out. Notice the body's response to your inhale and your exhale. With your next inhale, just start to move your fingers and your toes. And then stretch your arms overhead, long on the mat, making yourself be as long as possible. Point those toes, point those fingers, really work yourself long and flat on the mat. And then inhale and sweep the arms and the legs together. And exhale, roll over to one side. And gently bring yourself back up to a seat. Finding yourself back into your comfortable Sukhasana. Close the eyes once again and just roll those shoulders back. Think about separating the jaw. And focus on the inhale and the exhale. Inhaling, drawing our hands at heart center. And exhaling, fully bowing and releasing to close. Namaste.